Well, hello everybody. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sabrina. If you are new here, I am a mystic, a medium. All my clairs are opened, a psychic healer, a shamanic witchy, and life path number 5. Today I want to talk to you about what I have been learning over the past 2 months. Life path number 5 is going to have your soul frequency matching certain deities, one of which is Ganesha, the other one is Oshun. And there might be 1 or 2 others that you can also work with that have similar frequencies. I work with a lot of spirits, and spirits have come to me from time to time over the years. So welcome to my channel. I need to make a little disclaimer. First of all, I was blessed with Bindi tonight by the priest, and I'll talk a little bit about that and how to chant on your fingers to Shiva. Anything that I say related to psychology, spiritual practice, spiritual healing, my personal experiences, and even my knowledge about the workings of the emotions and the inner workings of the mind. You have to use your own discernment. You may have to also consult a professional in those areas, and especially if I start to mention anything in the field of legalities or finance. Okay? This is an 18+ channel. It's not for kids, and I do think that this particular spiritual practice is non-invasive. Anyone who is in counseling or on medication can practice Sanatana Dharma. So life path number 5, which corresponds to Ganesha, relates to Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma. This is a philosophy. It is a way of living. It is called a spiritual practice, and it is even called a religion, because they have a temple where they have their pantheon and all of their incredible deities carved in different types of stone. I have some pictures I think I can share here today. Now, Ganesha had come to me in a dream over 10 years ago, and I had started on the goddess-based path 20 years ago. As I was studying numerology, which was the next thing on the wheel of learning that I was studying. I do a lot of research. It relates to my rising, which is Pisces. In the course of that, I hit upon some deities that resonated with me. And sometimes it's just a matter of practicing, okay? And whatever you're attracted to, and then you hit upon the ones that then you know for sure, because they're going to visit you in sleep. In the astral, they're going to come to you and they're going to show you something. It wasn't until about 5 years ago, though, where I decided to actually work with the elephant-headed god. And I had seen an elephant head, it kept coming up on the TV, and I wondered, who is that? I looked into it. I just started listening to the mantra on my phone with some monks chanting as I went to sleep. I was in a very, very strong need of having to come to the realization that I needed to sell my home, and I was just doing quite a lot by myself. So I only worked semi-regularly, primarily listening to the chants. Eventually I started trying to learn how to say the words for the chant. For Ganesha, it's Om Gan Ganapate Namaha. And it does vary a little bit depending on who you listen to. It could be Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And those little variations I don't think matter much, because what I was listening to on my phone was Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. That's what it sounds like. And basically it's close enough, it works. This is the oldest language on the planet that is built or based on sound or frequency. The universe is sound, everything is frequency and energy. And this is why it's so important to guard how we think about ourselves and, you know, how we act with others in the world. So every letter has a frequency. Om is the sound of the universe. You could simply chant Om, Om. I did that for years. A, U, M. Om. These are for the upper three centers of your body, which is a portal to the spirit world. You want to raise your frequency, you want to work with the upper three centers. Om, Om, Om. You could start with just that. And then if you want to listen to Ganesha, I have made a video on the hippocampus. I am so convinced that this was created as a way for us to learn about the brain and how the brain works, all right? And if you look, I have something around here written on paper. If I find it, I'll read it to you. If you look at Ganesha, one of his tusks is broken. Nobody comes into this life with a perfect life. Some of us become broken. And with Ganesha, I think relating a lot to the mind and the hippocampus, the memory, okay, and emotions. A lot of us have really been through an incredible amount of turbulence that we don't understand. You know, it comes from relatives, parents. That's called generational trauma. Their trauma is visited upon us, and then we have our own. And it's a kind of a constant thing we have to stay on top of and make sure our hippocampus is healthy and at the proper size, because it shrinks with stress. And especially if that's been continuing, you know, for days and weeks and months and years, we're carrying that around and we're not healing. And the amygdala gets larger. So I was led to work with Ganesha, and I began chanting, and then I would do that more a couple times a week, not that often. And then I received the word lingam, and I got a lingam, and I put it over there. I began, after 3 years of working with Ganesha, having more spontaneous memories. This is a term we use in hypnotherapy. You can work with hypnotherapy and start to have flashbacks or spontaneous memories of things that happened in the past, and you don't relive them. My mind was kind of broken, guys, for a while. And I was healing over time. I had learned affirmations and then meditation, and then put the two together. Then I studied hypnotherapy, and was constantly learning about how to regulate my emotions. Okay? When you are around narcissists and you suffer narcissistic neglect and manipulations, that's another thing, okay? But this is a system that I have found for great healing, especially if you have a life path number 5. How do you do that? Your birth date, your birthday, Okay, the month, the number of the month, the birth date, and then the year you were born. Add up, keep adding and adding until you reduce and get a single number. Okay, and this would be, if it's an 11, leave it an 11. If you come up with a 5, then you've got a life path number 5. And that's me. Now, there's an aspect of Ganesha that has to do with writing constantly. And I think this has to do with the fact that the mind never sleeps. We're always recording whatever we're seeing, whatever we're hearing. And I think it also has to do with learning how to write, right? Like I have done, positive affirmations to speak to myself, to actually kind of reprogram and regulate my thoughts and my emotions. Yes, you can do that. I have an ebook, and I'll leave the link below. But as time has gone on after 5 years, I had another trigger. Something happened that was happening on a daily basis and weekly and monthly. And I was being triggered even more. So, I mean, I had already become an aware empath, a strong empath, and was standing up to the narcissist parent and then also the narcissist spouse with the word no. All right, the one thing they don't want to hear. And I didn't care because I knew I had to find somewhere, anywhere to go but there. And that was my plan. All right, so, but what's happened over the past year and a half really has led me to feel another level. I mean, if I was 1.0 before, and as I've been healing over time and had other things happen in dreams where I felt renewed and I was like me 2.0, this time I had another upgrade, me 3.0. When the lunar eclipse came on March 23rd, it was a Saturday. So what happened was my north node and my south node were sort of coming together, and this was a time where I could actually experience an even deeper healing, and Shiva came to me in a dream. I didn't know who it was or what was happening. So what I have learned is that I really do need to step on the path. It's something I really need to learn and practice now, like a babe in the woods, on this particular path. And I've had other signs, other things, spirits coming through apps telling me, follow one, choose one, follow Lord Gun or follow Gun, and I didn't really know what they meant. So you follow one, and Ganesha led me to Shiva. I'm also being led to Vishnu. And the priest has also told me you're going to have to learn about Ganesha's brother. So there's a whole pantheon that I'm going to learn about, not all 300 of them, but, you know, maybe a handful, maybe half a dozen. So now that I'm feeling such a connection to Shiva, a devotion, a love, you should be really falling in love with the spirit that comes to you, because it is a privilege. It is a wonderful opportunity to discover an aspect of yourself, not what the world tells you to be, who you are. If that's devotion, this love is devotion. You have devotion to your spouse. Doesn't happen very often, but you know, and you give offerings, same way you are feeding your animals, you love them, you offer them food and water, and we offer things to Shiva. So tonight was Abhishekam, and that is the purification. I don't have a Shiva lingam yet, but what I'm learning is that the pouring of the water is, again, it's for us to acknowledge consciousness. The pouring of the water on the Shiva lingam is acknowledging pure consciousness And we are washing away a lack of consciousness as we're pouring the water on the Shiva Lingam. And after that comes milk, which sustains life. It's the first food for the baby. And then there's yogurt, and then there can be turmeric, and then there's maybe kumkum, and then there's flour. So it depends on what your needs are, the priest said, as to what you are going to be offering. And tonight he even had a coconut, which is for, when they break the coconut, it's for breaking your karma. Whatever karma that you brought in yourself from past lives, and whatever else has been visited upon you, and whatever other karmas you have been perpetrating upon another person, anger towards them, frustration in your own life, this is karma. And it's not going to make anything negative. It's just not going to make your life better. Your thoughts or feelings, they're not going to heal. So this is about healing. With understanding comes a lot of healing. After that, he cleans up, and then we go over to the gigantic Shiva Lingam that has Vasuki, the snake. And we smudge, and he chants, and then sometimes we chant as well. Now, he taught me how to chant to Shiva when I first went to the temple and told him my story. And he said, well, one way that we can keep track of 108 is with our fingers. You start with your ring finger in the middle. Om Namah Shivaya. And as I've said in a recent video, Om is the sound of the universe. Na is earth. Ma is water. Shiv or Shi is air. Va is, I don't know if it's fire, but it's all 4 elements. And then Ya, Om Namah Shivaya. The last one is spirit. Om Namah Shivaya. This takes a while to understand how to speak. This is a language that you may have never spoken before. Om Namah Shivaya. Okay, there's your first 2. These are acupuncture points that help connect in the physical way. Now you go to the pinky. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Then you go on to the finger pads at the top of the next finger. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. You come down. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you do that 10 times. How do you keep track of that? Some people have beads. The Darshan, the priest, said you keep track on the other hand. This is your first. This is your second. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That would be 100, right? So, starting in the middle, Om Namah Shivaya. 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 That's your first set of 10. Now you move down. Same way you're going to move on this hand, you're going to move on this hand, but only one time for each set. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. I've been practicing. All right, there's your second set. Now you're going to be going on to your third set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, here. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Now the middle, pinky. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Top. See what I mean? You keep going. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Now, the top pad of the ring finger. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. And the 10th one here. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. That's 100. And then you need 8 more, so you would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. That's 108. So once you get accustomed to it, it should only take about 10 minutes. It took me 20 minutes the first time because I couldn't remember how to speak this language. But it does become second nature to you after you've practiced it. I'd say maybe 5. For me, it's like 5 or 6 times. But I'd already learned how to chant to Ganesha for 4 years, off and on. So it is a new language, and you're just learning how to chant it. You're not going to learn all these big scripts like the priest does. After our final connecting to the Shiva Lingam and then receiving our blessed water and the flour and the rice, and then we make our wish. He also came and blessed us with bindi, and then we made our wish and put the flour and the rice on the bottom of the gigantic Shiva Lingam there above the square part of the temple. Now, to me, it's not a fashion statement. It's not something that I would wear in honor of Shiva as I'm just going to go about my everyday business, because what I've learned is that when the priest is going to bless you with bindi, it's on your third eye, and that is to help you focus as you're getting ready to go over to the deity statue to connect and meditate. Shiva's about meditation, and that includes the chanting. So that's a lesson for today, everybody. I hope that this has been interesting. Please like, share, and subscribe. I will leave the link to my ebook on here shortly after I've uploaded the video, as soon as I can. And again, this, you could be drawing attention to people that are prejudiced, and then you would be attracting negativity. I would personally save it for only when you're going to be meditating to your deity at home or in the temple. Namaste, and I'll teach you what I've learned about this next time. Take care. See you later.